December 20th, 1988. When I arrived at work this morning, my pickup truck was facing the rising sun. The down clouds were so brilliant that I could only think, oh, how beautiful the world can be. The lovely hues just combined in such beauty that I felt lost in a reverie of beautiful thoughts of days past. Only God can create such time with such wonder and awe. Military history. Born October 1st, 1917 in Midlothian, Virginia. Became a cadet in Coast Artillery at VPI in 1936. Commissioned a second lieutenant in Reserve Army May 30th, 1940. December 7th, 1941. Arrived at Fort Meade, Maryland from North Carolina at 2:30 a.m. Early p.m., a military policeman notified my group that the war had been declared. To Utah Beach, 25th of June, 1944, to reinforce 4th Infantry Division forces for the capture of Cherbourg. On Cherbourg, Sergeant Foyt, my backup, and I went onto a side street that led to exactly where I wanted to reach the main docks. As we proceeded, we shot into the building windows to keep the enemy down. All of a sudden, I found myself flat on the ground and Sergeant Foyt shot. A German carbine 98 rattled down the side of the building. Foyt had spotted an enemy soldier aiming at me. He kicked me to the ground and snap, shot at the same time. In that split second, he had saved my life. Valognes, France is halfway between Utah Beach and Cherbourg. The terrible slaughter of soldiers just west of Valognes will be in my memory forever. At first, piles of bodies by roadside, then bodies as far as one could see in both directions across the peninsula lay where they fell. Graves registration men were beginning to put bodies by the roadside to be picked up. These bodies were stacked like cards about 4 bodies high. Both young Americans and young German enemy were mixed in profusion. My thoughts were terrible then. Each was someone's son, brother, sweetheart, husband, or father. Each was the center of someone else's life. What a waste. What a waste. I was profoundly affected by this sight and had extreme hatred in my heart. This was my first visit to the very mouth of hell. No man can see this without rededicating his thoughts about duty, honor, country. I wanted to get to the enemy and tear him to pieces. Those beautiful American heroes lying in their glory. They somehow seemed to say to me, "Don't let us have died in vain. All right, Captain, it's your turn at bat." I wish I could tell all American citizens how this terrible scene had horror and glory. These men were the very best our country had to offer. In the distance, the flash of bursting shells, the noise of battle. As we went closer, the shells were all around us, and the smoke, screams, and the terrible sight of human conflict descended upon me. I asked God to lead my men in this maelstrom. My brave young fellows came into this place later. I was so proud of how they came in ready to fight. Brave, brave, brave. Tourlaville is a little French town about 2 kilometers east of Cherbourg. On or around July 1st, 1944, I found a picture of Adolf Hitler on the bottom floor of a German bunker, 4 floors down in the earth. The room was damp and littered with debris. A German officer had been bayoneted there. The blood stains can still be seen on the back of the photograph that also contains the autograph of Adolf Hitler. It was dated September 1938. I was there with Battery E of the 203rd Automatic Weapons Battalion. We were protecting one of the first airfields captured in France. To Tilly. First soldier killed, died in my arms. Michael Manzolillo. My son Mike named for this hero. Tilly, France is between Paris and Melun. I helped evacuate Mike. His blood was on my uniform for weeks. The French armored division that followed us in combat was sent across the bridge so they could have the honor of retaking Paris. Some of George Patton's crap. We had to go upriver to Fontainebleau to cross. To the town of Langenholthausen. Large caliber shell nearby buried me in a foxhole. Landed in the midst of our company command post, no one badly hurt. Next duty was hauling in thousands of enemy prisoners. The Castle, a terrible sight. American planes had bombed several days before. There were no two bricks together. The rubble was filled with the bodies of the population. April 1945, to Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Will take a long explanation to tell what was here. At a small town before we crossed the Elbe River, defended by new troops from Denmark, we had to hold up and rake the town with our fire. A soldier told me to look at a bad scene. A young mother had been killed by our firing. Her baby was trying to nurse her. I picked up the child and ran into live fire to find a German home for the child. The young mother looked like one that I knew at one time. I felt terrible and mad about war. This beautiful little German town near Hull was where we saw Russian brutality made evident. We occupied and enjoyed this nice town and its civil natives. We learned to live in peace with our former enemy. I commanded a Landkreis, German district here. We held court and saw to peace and order. We respected these good people and got respect. We took all young German females out with us to prevent rape and wrong by Russians. To embark for home on Laconia Victory. Active time, January 2nd, 1941 to February 3rd, 1946. I went in a cadet, I came out a soldier. For life.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut it.
That worked. God made this world for his creatures to enjoy. Here before Christmas, I felt that nature was the greatest gift that God could give man. We need to take time to savor and enjoy all this wonderful, wonderful world. I want others to enjoy this kind of beauty in the raw nature. I hope I never get too old to enjoy morning scenes so sublime.